Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the Daily Bern. What this is the war room of the political revolution. A daily inspirational, motivational show for all of us that are fighting every day in this political revolution in order to change our government into one that works for the people. Please like and share. Get this out to as many people as you can. We have to be the media, and any interaction in the show helps us do better in Facebook's algorithm and get out to more viewers. So smash those like buttons, share the show, and comment. Participate in the discussion. I like seeing your comments, and I like reading them and everything, and I like responding to you guys. And that's what I want this to be, is kind of like an ongoing discussion, but it also helps us. So when you participate in the show, when you comment, you're helping get it out to more people, because Facebook thinks, hey, this is popular. People want to see this. The more interaction it gets. A lot of people don't understand that or realize that. So participate in the show, and I would really appreciate it. But thanks for coming to the Daily Bern. I'm your host, Sean Yankee, and today what we're going to focus on is doing all that you can. I say that every day. We do this show 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, and I say it every day that we have to do all that we can. And but I try to explain it, but I never really explain what that means. It doesn't mean devoting your life 24 hours a day to, electing Bernie Sanders and the political revolution. It just means to live the change you want to see happen, to start doing the things that you can individually do right now. You don't have to wait. We don't have to wait for anything for this to start. Our role in this fight is very different than Bernie's. You know, we do different things. Our job is to do things like spread the truth, to spread the message, to help inform people, to speak to people like your friends and family about things like Medicare for all. Like I just did a debate with a Trump supporter, and it was a really good opportunity to talk about the tax rate thing, because his concern was, well, Bernie's going to raise our taxes. So it gave me an opportunity to put down some of the fear mongering, because I don't know if you've seen it, but right now we're up against a lot of propaganda, not just in the mainstream media where, that's constant, but big money interests in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry are putting out ads, and, full of fear, and trying to push that, oh my God, your taxes are going to be so high, you're not going to be able to get medical care, you're not going to be able to pick your doctor, you're going to lose your insurance, just misleading and misinforming everyone about what Medicare for all will actually mean. And it falls on us to correct that propaganda and to help people fight through it. There's unfortunately nothing we can do about it, because they have the money to buy these ads and buy that airtime, and you know but your television is a weapon. All of mainstream media is weaponized against you. It is a weaponized propaganda delivery system, is basically what your television is. That flickering box in your living room delivers nothing but lies. And if you're looking at it as a source of entertainment and things like that, then you're fine. But if you're looking at it as a source of information, then you're going to be misled. And that's the entire point of it, right? The CIA infiltrated the media and took over the media in the 50s. And their established objective was to make sure that everything that the average American knew or believed was false. They want you to be misinformed. The powers that be want to keep us divided up and distracted and as uninvolved as they possibly can. I hear people talk about how, you shouldn't vote, voting is stupid, or, different things. There are all kinds of different reasons why people don't participate in the democratic process in this country. More than 60% of people can't even be bothered to vote. And there's all kinds of reasons why. But what I hear a lot is things like, well, it makes you responsible for what they do. It means that you consent to the evil in the world and you condone it. And that is bullshit. And that's probably one of the dumbest things that I ever hear. If you vote, blindly, maybe, you could say that. But if you are voting informed on the issues, no matter what party you're voting for, or even if we agree, if you're voting informed and looking into your candidates and all of that, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're doing what's needed, and if more people did that, this madness wouldn't go on. You're not condoning it unless you're voting blindly by voting. You have to participate. They'd love nothing more than for you not to. Do you think that statistic bothers them? That they're sitting around in a room somewhere going, 60% of people don't even vote. We need to do something to excite these people. No, they're trying to figure out how to get it up to 70. They don't give a shit if you don't participate. Their whole thing moves right along without you. They would love nothing more than for you to sit on the sidelines and be uninvolved. They control you. This system that you are opposing by non-involvement still runs your life, whether you participated in it or not. So you should participate in it. I don't think it makes any sense to turn a blind eye to it and expect it to correct itself. Like, oh, if I ignore it, it'll self-correct because I will have taken my support away from it. And you support it because you vote and you care. You're a dumbass. See, because I don't do any of those things. And, on election day, I'm going to stay home. And that's how you fight. That's how you win. Stay quiet. Stay home. And don't do anything. How do you convince yourself that's the right way to do anything? Can you accomplish anything that way? I mean, with that as your strategy, will you accomplish a single thing? I fought that F-bomb really hard. I hope everyone appreciates that. But you can't do anything like that. And with that mindset, you're defeated from the jump. Your mindset is very important. There's an old proverb, and it's about how you have two wolves inside of you, and I don't remember the proverb. I'm going to butcher the hell out of it, but I'm going to make my best attempt at it. Anyways, one of them is weakness and one of them is strength or something like that. And, there's a little boy being told this story and he asks his grandpa, well, which one wins? Which wolf wins? And the grandpa says the one that you feed, right? So the story behind that story that I just butchered is that you feed the negative thoughts, that's going to be the strongest. They're going to be the strongest influence in your life because that's what you gave strength to. You gave a platform to. You agreed with it. Whenever that voice chirped up in your mind and said you can't do something, you were like, yeah, you're right. But if you choose otherwise, if you choose to instead silence that voice by telling it, no, I'm going to do this. Yes, it's hard. You're right. But it's unacceptable to not do it, so I'm going to do it. And then instead, support the stronger voice until you build it up. And the weak voice is probably never going to go away, but at least it won't have power over you. It won't be controlling your life and keeping you from accomplishing anything. But basically, if your mindset is wrong, you're going to fail. You can defeat yourself from the very beginning in your head, just by not believing in yourself. Even if you're trying to do it, if you don't believe in it, you kind of have to have your body and your mind working together in most things. And but a positive attitude is going to get you a lot farther than a negative one, basically, is the main message I'm trying to get across here. And that just didn't exist in our movement. So I created this show so there would be one, because that's an important part of it. Even if you're going to do everything in the fight, you're going to go to all the protests. You're going to share the news. You're going to fight the lies. You're going to tell people about the campaign. But in the back of your mind, you're going to think like a quitter the whole time. You're going to think, well, they're just going to rig it. And, you know, we're up against so much and the media is so rigged and blah, 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 blah. And you just focus on the negatives and the negatives and the negatives. When you lose, because you will lose with that mindset, even doing the work, it'll be because you didn't believe in it. You have to believe in it. You will it into existence. That's important. It's an important part of it. And, a lot of these independent journalists are using their platforms to focus entirely on how rigged and hard it's going to be instead of, yes, you're on the right path. You're going to run into obstacles. It's going to be hard, but this is how it gets done. Keep going. So that's what I wanted to do, is fill that gap. So I made this show. And that's what I mean by doing all you can. I'm going to tie this into a little bow here. Bring it back to what I was saying at the beginning. This is my version of doing all that I can. This is what I've chosen to do. Your version is something different. Whatever you can give to the movement, whether that is donating, or volunteering. I include a link in the description of every Daily Bern to berniesanders.com. Please go there and see if there's anything you can do. There's lots of ways to volunteer. You can probably find something that fits into your schedule and join the more than 2 million of us that are already volunteering to get Bernie elected president, or donate any amount, right? Even $1. Everything helps. And we bought ourselves a politician. So when the hat comes around, kick in $1 if you can. Anything you can do would be great. I've been asking people to get a bumper sticker while you're there. And I'm not a fan of bumper stickers on cars. I think they're tacky. And I never had one on my car before. But this is important. And, what I did is I put mine on my window. But they're nice bumper stickers, for one. They're not the cheap paper kind that are going to stick to your car and be a nightmare to take off. They're the vinyl kind, and they come right off. I've already experimented, and the thing is, though, I've had at least 10 people in the couple of weeks that I've had it on my car start conversations with me about Bernie, so that created at least 10 opportunities to talk to people that I wouldn't have gotten without that bumper sticker. Now, imagine how many people saw it and were either inspired or were like, hey, I know I get inspired and excited when I see a Bernie sticker or a sign or anything like that. And that's part of doing all you can. It's little things. Just throwing that bumper sticker on your car and driving around like normal. That is doing something. And while you're doing what you would normally do. So it's real easy. And the campaign asks people to do it because of something they call bumper sticker support, which is, I guess, a political thing that they, gauge by how many bumper stickers you see, whatever. But I'm asking you to do it because it works, and it's a little thing that you can do, and you're promoting the campaign by doing nothing more than driving around like you would normally do, just going to work and going to places that you normally go. And it's going to be little things like that that make a difference. All of us coming together and doing what we can individually, snowballing into a wave of support that just tears down this whole corrupt, greedy establishment. That's what is going to happen. That's what is happening. And we're going to do that. Once we reach a point, we're not there yet, we're getting there. Our momentum is right on track. I'm very proud of how this is going, and I have full confidence that we're going to win. But we do need to wake more people up. But once we get enough people that understand this is our fight, that Bernie is not going to save us, that nobody can save us, that we're the ones we've been waiting for. When enough of us realize that and own it and do the work, there will be nothing that they can do to stop us. And they will attempt to stop us. They will do everything in their power to stop us. Guaranteed. I promise you. They will rig it in every way they can. They will use their media to its full power They will do everything in their power to stop us. But if enough of us own this and enough of us do what's needed, they won't be able to. They will go down kicking and screaming, but we will win. We will win. We're going to win. Not Bernie, us. It's just a fact. I am completely sure of it, and I'm not an optimistic type. I'm a realist, 100%. But I believe in this fight. I believe we're going to win. All we got to do is all we can. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone for coming. And if you shared, thank you so much. That helps more than you know, and I really appreciate it. This message needs to get out. This message needs to spread. This message of positivity that we can do this, that we are on the right track, needs to spread. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing the show. The next thing that we're going to get into is comments from yesterday's Daily Bern. Okay, so Royce was here, and I was talking about how, you used to be able to support a family in this country on one income. Back in not quite my dad's time, but my grandfather's time, you could raise a family and have everything that we consider to be, luxuries, like, a nice car, a home, your own home, not not renting an apartment, buy a house and raise a family all on one income. And that's impossible now. And Royce was saying that the powers that be have made it that way because they didn't like that the people could have all that with one income. And they definitely didn't like that mom could stay home and raise the kids. And now people say, what's wrong with the kids? We broke up the family, and that was intentional. They supported the feminist movement because they wanted to break up the family and create more workers, and they wanted to get those women into the workforce because they look at us as workers at best, but I feel they look at us as slaves. Jen was here and said, think about how hard things will become if Bernie doesn't win. And I'm not going to think like a loser and defeat myself in my mind, but she's right. A lot is at stake. A lot. This is a very big fight, and this is our moment. We need to take full advantage and do all we can. But we're going to, and millions are, and we have great momentum, and I have no worries that we're going to pull this off. But they will fight as hard as they can, and they will go down kicking and screaming. But Alyssa was here and said that people who think Bernie are a sheepdog are among the dimmest lights in the bunch. It is definitely something that I don't understand. This whole argument that Bernie is a sheepdog for the Democratic Party and is conning us and isn't really trying to win, even just is pulling in voters and fundraising for the DNC. Where they get that from, I don't know. Especially the part about him fundraising for the DNC. The money doesn't go to the DNC. If you give to Bernie, you're giving to Bernie. I've even seen people so paranoid that they feel like you got to give to Bernie's office. It's not the case, right? But Bernie's definitely not a sheepdog, and I don't see the logic behind it. What's he doing? Running a 40-year con? Can you imagine? That makes no sense. Mehdi was here and asked if I've thought of changing the time of the broadcast, that mornings are not exactly the time to reach most folks. And I have. I've experimented with different times, and honestly, mornings do the best. I have looked up online when the best time to post to Facebook is, and statistically, it is 3:00 p.m., which would probably be the best time to do the show, is 3:00 p.m. But who's 3:00? You start thinking about it too much, and you're like, well, how do you figure it out? And what I found, I watched a couple, like I learned how to do everything, how-to videos on YouTube, how to build a following, and this was on live streaming, and they were just, the best advice was the best time to do a live stream is whenever it's convenient for the live streamer. When I can set aside the time to do it is the best time to do it. So But a regular time was needed to build an audience. We have taken off a lot since giving it a regular time. So that's going to help a lot moving forward. And we settled on 9:30 just because that seemed to work the best. But that was the comments from today. Let's go over and check out the news. Let's head to the newsroom. The first story that I picked to get into today is about how Bernie Sanders wants to ban facial recognition use by police. It says Democratic presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders wants to put an end to the use of police facial recognition software. Sanders called for a ban as part of a criminal justice reform plan introduced today ahead of a 2-day tour of South Carolina. The plan also calls for the ban of for-profit prisons and would revoke the practice of law enforcement agencies benefiting from civil asset forfeitures. Ugh, that was a tough word. Um, Actually, I have a video clip that I wanted to play for you guys about this. So let's head over and check that out. Let's go to YouTube. Okay, so this short clip is not his announcement because I couldn't find a clip of the announcement that was less than 10 minutes long. But this is his announcement from the beginning of his campaign about criminal justice reform. So I'm going to play that real quick.
I am running for president because we need real criminal justice reform.
We have more people in jail than China does, for God's sake. We're spending $80 billion a year to lock up people who are disproportionately African American, Latino, and Native American.
And yet there are communities in America, African American communities and white communities in rural areas. We have youth unemployment of 30 or 40%. Maybe it might make a little bit more sense to invest in those kids rather than in more jails.
Have you noticed what's been going on in this country in the last couple of years? Criminalizing marijuana or legalizing marijuana. And some communities are now moving forward to expunge the records. How many lives were destroyed because young people of color, they were being picked up and arrested for having possession of marijuana?
Too many.
To end private prisons and cash bail.
I don't think that it is appropriate for private companies to be making profits through the incarceration of our fellow Americans. That's just wrong.
We have a system of justice for the wealthy. And if you have the money and the good lawyers, my God, there's almost anything you can commit and get away with. And then we have another system for the poor and working people of this country.
The rich are above the law.
Police department reform. We need to end the militarization of police departments.
So that summarized it pretty well, but he made a more formal presentation, and you can look that up on berniesanders.com as well. Link is in the description. The last story that I picked out to go over with you guys today is from Politico, and it is about what the Sanders political revolution looks like in real life. Now, I'm not going to read Holly's article. I've given Politico chances in the past, but what Bernie Sanders' political revolution looks like in real life, this is a good picture. This is from his trip. Recently, Bernie took a bunch of people, diabetics, up to Canada to get insulin at 10 times cheaper prices than in the United States. The same bottle of insulin that they're paying $340 for here, they bought for $34 in Canada. It's things like that that Bernie does. What Bernie's campaign looks like, and what Bernie's political revolution looks like, is Bernie going where the people are, talking to Cardi B, going on Joe Rogan, getting the message out, informing people, doing what he's been doing for ever since he was robbed of the nomination and before that. He's been working his ass off for the American people for 40-something years. And what the revolution looks like in real life is, there's another good picture of it, is real people standing up and doing what needs to be done in order to change their government into one that works for the people. That is what this revolution looks like. And these are the things that Bernie does that separates him from the other people running campaigns. That's a big one right there. The other people are running campaigns. Bernie is running a movement. So that was the news that I wanted to share with you guys today. Real quick, we'll get into Bernie events. If you want to stay informed with the campaign, text Bernie to 67760, and that will enroll you in the texting service. And volunteers like me that do the texting will send out notifications for events and rallies and things like that in your area. Or you can get the Bern app. The Bern app's really cool, and you can get that from wherever you get your phone apps. And that's neat. And it also counts you as a supporter statistically. And you can do cool things like the My Bernie story, where you record a short reason why you support Bernie Sanders, and then you can share that out on your social media with your friends. And it's pretty cool. So those are really good tools to stay informed, or just watch the Daily Bern every day, and I'll tell you what's going on with the campaign. The campaign just ended in South Carolina. They were just in South Carolina and are now heading to Northern California the 22nd and the 23rd for two events. There'll be a rally on the 22nd, and then on the 23rd, there's going to be a town hall. So they are working really hard. The campaign's doing great. And their big focus right now is campaign offices. They are trying to open campaign offices all across the country and get ahead of the support. The support has been so much larger than they even anticipated. So they're trying to get these offices open and running and get ahead of the support to capitalize on it. But they're doing a fantastic job. The Bernie campaign and Bernie himself, they're doing great work. And if we do our part, we've got this. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the Daily Bern. Thank you guys so much for everything that you've done to build this show up. We are really building a following. Yesterday we had a great turnout. We've been having a really great turnout at the live premieres. I was worried when we started pre-recording this show because you don't get as good of interaction as you do if you're able to do live videos. So it scared me going pre-recorded because I was like, well, what if no one watches it? But the response has been great, and these premieres are really cool. Like, through technical limitations, we haven't been able to do live feeds, which would be better. And when I get a new computer, we will be back to live, and that'll be cooler because I can interact. We can talk and have more of a discussion. But with these live premieres, I'm able to talk to you in the comments at least during the show. So it's been really cool, and it's a cool little feature that I'm glad they have for the show. But thank you again, everyone that shared, and thank you for participating and commenting. Our comment section has been really inspirational for me anyway. I think it's great. So, hopefully you're drawing inspiration and motivation from this show, because I want it to be a place where we gather and get inspired and support each other. That's what I want it to be. There needs to be something like that. This is a long, frustrating fight. It's a very different fight from anything that we're used to or that I'm used to. And it's a marathon. And we're up against a lot. And there's a lot at stake. And a lot of us are very passionate. I know I am. And, we're emotionally involved, and this gets overwhelming. So to have a place where, someone is telling you that you're doing not only that you're doing the right thing, but you're on the right path, and you're doing what needs to happen. Yes, it's hard sometimes. Yes, you're going to get knocked down. Yes, we might lose. But if we do all we can, we have a very real chance of winning. And you just have to remove the negative and get rid of the negativity. So I created this little show as a positive place, and hopefully you're digging it and it's doing something for you, because I want to do my part, and this was my idea of how to do my part in the political revolution. Just do all that you can, whatever that happens to be. We all have different strengths and different gifts, and we're, for the most part, intelligent. I've met some of the best and smartest people I've ever met right here on Facebook. And a lot of you are fans of this show, and I see your names every day. We can figure this out. We outnumber them, and we can do this. We just have to do all we can. That's it. And that's what I'm going to talk about every day on this show. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all that you do in this political revolution. You guys are warriors and you rock. You're my heroes. And I'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of the Daily Bern.